Chairwoman Hancock and Natural Resources Committee members, thank you for inviting me to come this morning to speak to you. Before coming to this hearing, I stopped by the governor's office and left for the governor a letter. And I would like to read that letter to you this morning. Dear Governor Schwarzenegger, I accepted your appointment to chair the California Air Resources Board because of our common, strong commitments to protecting the environment and to addressing global warming. I am honored to have served as the board chair for the past 18 months, and I am proud of the board's many actions to improve air quality in California and to launch California's global warming program. Air Resources Board actions, and there are many, have included the continuing development of the scientific basis for its actions through a strong research program, the identification of environmental tobacco smoke as a toxic air contaminant, non-regulatory actions with the railroad industry to improve risk assessment and to reduce locomotive emissions, adoption of the emissions reductions plan for the goods movement sector, banning of the use of perchloroethylene for dry cleaning, emission standards for forklifts and other industrial equipment, modifications to the portable equipment registration program, tightening of regulations of hexavalent chrome, regulation of in-use heavy-duty emissions, limiting onboard incineration of ocean-going ships, reduction of toxic emissions from stationary agricultural engines, expansion of the consumer product and aerosol coatings regulations, adoption of a more health protective nitrogen dioxide air quality standard, strengthening of the light-duty vehicle emissions warranty provisions, reduction of formaldehyde emissions from composite wood products, development of the state implementation plan for compliance with the new federal ozone air quality standards, including approval of the San Diego and San Joaquin Valley Air Quality Management District plans, and ongoing multi-level efforts with the South Coast Air Quality Management District. Review of the Zero Emissions Vehicle Program and instructions to the Air Resources Board staff for modifications to encourage the production and use of electric and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. Consideration of regulations of off-road diesel equipment, adoption of above-ground storage tank emission regulations, and planning and initiation of AB 32, the California Global Warming Solutions Act of 2006, including the identification of early action items and other regulations to be considered for adoption by the Air Resources Board. My single regret is that you and I have never once met during the past 18 months to discuss any of the critical air quality or global warming issues facing California. The more than 1,000 Air Resources Board staff members have rightfully earned the Air Resources Board reputation as the world's premier air quality regulatory agency. These scientists, engineers, economists, lawyers, support staff, and more have the skills necessary for the conception, design, implementation, and enforcement of environmental regulatory policy. California is fortunate to have their dedicated service. I am proud to have been their leader and their colleague. The traditional independence of the Air Resources Board has served the people of California well. The Air Resources Board has turned the policy directions from the legislature and from the governor into improved air quality. This is a complex process, which most importantly, consistently has been based on sound science. It is an open process in which members of the public and affected parties express their views at workshops and board meetings. It is a deliberative process that must involve compromise, that must consider both the health of our citizens and the strength of our economy. The Air Resources Board uniquely has the experience, expertise, and structure to carry out this process. The governor's staff has the task of conveying policy directions from the governor to the Air Resources Board. However, Governor Schwarzenegger, your staff has interjected itself in a manner that has compromised the independence and the integrity of the board. The directions your staff and one of your former staff members delivered to me and to other Air Resources Board members just prior to and even during our June board meeting were particularly offensive. Instructions not to propose additional climate change early action measures to the list of 3 previously approved by your staff were inappropriate. The actions of your staff were also contrary to the open meeting tradition of board deliberations. Their directions were also contrary to discussions at my pre-board meeting with your staff. Following the June board meeting, I met with your chief of staff to express my concern and displeasure with both the problem of mixed messages and the level of interference that your staff was exerting upon the Air Resources Board. She rejected both of my concerns and informed me that you had rescinded my appointment 5 days earlier.